Welcome to Coffee Break with Rachel V. Hill, presented by Superbook Sports. Taking a daily look at the biggest stories in Denver sports and interacting live with you, the Coffee Break fam. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of joe, and enjoy your coffee break. Here's your host, Rachel V. Hill.
Day one of training camp is in the books. Good morning, everybody. Rachel V. Hill and DMac hanging out with you as we get ready for day two. DMac, how you feeling? The kitties, where are they?
Kitties are chilling by the window. They're looking at Mr. Squirrel. They're fascinated by Mr. Squirrel out there. So there's a lot of activity going on in the old Smoky Hill playing fields. Like, you can feel school amping up. There's like the fall sports are kind of having.
So you're telling me summer's over?
Summer looks to be over for these. There's a guy just with his shirt off, just jogging. He looks great. If I look like that, I wouldn't even own a shirt. But there he is jogging around in my backyard. So no, it's hey, I know we called it pre-camp. Forget that. That was training camp.
Yep.
And today is day two. I don't know what we were expecting, but things have gotten off with like a bang, though, Rachel.
Yes, quite literally. First of all, we talked about this yesterday. We did like a wrap-up version of Coffee Break, just a clip that went out on social media. You guys can find it every single day following camp. But the tempo of yesterday, I think, was so surprising. And I don't know if it was so surprising because last year we saw just a lot of goofing around. You know, it felt like it wasn't very quote-unquote serious. And this year it is like, boom, 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 we're doing this. We saw a bunch of different drills. I felt like we saw, guys kind of just all over the place. And I felt like no matter where you looked, people were always working. Like, there was no one ever really standing around. All the players were always doing something.
I agree with you. They split the teams. They used two different fields. They did their conditioning work, doing more offensive sort of things. And the defense split up. I thought the pace was really good.
Yeah.
They got into 7-on-7, which we didn't see at all last year. They did team 11-on-11 drills where Javonte Williams took the first carry, and it's not like he, did a ton of stuff, but he was involved for sure, and he was first up when they went to that period, which was a really great sign. No, there was like real football going on, and I suspect the same will be today as things get going. Yes.
Say Sean Payton talked about the tempo too, and it's like, yeah, this is like what you could kind of expect, but they're still calling it the ramp up period. So I expect things to get even a little more intense as things get rolling throughout camp.
If this is the ramp up period, the fans should be excited to see what you get out there for a real training camp day, which will officially begin on Friday and then go through the weekend. I think you'll be entertained by it, but I don't know if you're going to be more entertained by things happening on the field or off the field now with Sean Payton. Interesting day yesterday. Sean Payton spoke. Greg Penner spoke. Damani Leach spoke. We heard from Justin Simmons and Cortland Sutton, but conspicuous by his absence was George Payton, who was nowhere to be found.
Yeah, so DMac, DenverSports.com got a nice little article from you this morning. You want to walk us through it?
Well, the relationship with George Payton and Sean Payton is interesting, to say the least. And the relationship with Sean Payton and Greg Penner has its own unique vibe. But we are taking a crazy twist on that story, Rachel, as we wake up this morning, as Jarrett Bell has like two like huge articles in a row, like back-to-back days. Good for Jarrett Bell of USA Today. But this morning was like a flamethrower from Sean Payton about everybody. I mean, it did not hold back. I mean, he destroyed Hackett, like quote, worst coached football team he's ever seen. Yep. But he said, the adults were to blame, and it's with the GM, the president, and everybody. I mean, Rachel, this is wild, man. I mean, Sean Payton just ripped to shreds George Payton, Damani Leach, and essentially Greg Penner for allowing it all to happen. Yep. I'm not against it. I'm not saying I'm critical of it. I've just never really seen it like this. And boy, oh boy, Rachel, did he make excuses for Russell Wilson. I mean, my goodness.
You thought so. I didn't think he made excuses. I think he just also realized that Russ is getting Here's my thing. I think it's a little bit of a boost to Russ of like, hey, bud, like, it's okay. It wasn't completely your fault. And I'll publicly say that because you want your confidence to go back into your quarterback. But it wasn't all Russ. I mean, the entire like team that we saw last year was just such a, I'm trying not to curse.
Right. Well, I mean, Sean Payton did. I know, what's another word for it?
Let's just say a sheesh show.
Well, there you go.
I mean, that's true. It wasn't all on Russ. He said there was like 20 other people with dirty hands in this too, which you have to agree with. But you have to get your confidence back in your quarterback too, DMac. And I think that's kind of what this article did. I don't think it was making excuses. I think it was helping build Russ up a little bit.
Well, he's certainly okay. Fair enough. But okay. All right. I gotta think about that. All right, but he wasn't trying to pump up George Payton.
No, that's because he took over George Payton's job a little bit. There is clearly one relationship where it is Greg Penner having a direct relationship with Sean Payton. Greg Penner even kind of touched on that yesterday of like, yeah, like we talk all the time. We're figuring things out, yada, yada. There was no mention of George Payton in that conversation.
It's a wild interview because, Sean Payton talked about being an anonymous donor, and this is going to make more headlines. I mean, yesterday there was headlines with the things that he was saying, and today this is going to top that. And I really didn't think you could top what you did yesterday, but all right, okay. I mean,
Sean he was Payton in the media for a year. He knows how this stuff works now.
Okay, well, Sean Payton is saying we're making the playoffs. He's saying that team was terrible, the organization was terrible, everything was terrible. Russell Wilson hasn't lost it. He's clearly saying that, Rachel. He's clearly saying Russell Wilson hasn't lost it. And there were other people to blame for all those problems. And this is a playoff team. He virtually guaranteed the Broncos are going to the playoffs in this article by Jarrett Bell at USA Today, which, cool.
Okay,
and
Sean.
Again, he's doing this through Jarrett Bell. And I guess if anybody asks him about it, like I did yesterday, about the suspensions and the gambling, I guess he can just say, I already talked about it. Next question. I mean, I guess that's how you're going to handle it. So I do wonder, Rachel, if this will be a trend with Sean Payton, where if he's got something to get off his chest, he's going to pull one guy, national guy, aside, blah, 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 blah. And then, just shut everything down here locally. It'll be interesting to follow.
On that note, another thing I found interesting is that he said he'll never talk about injuries. So, like, don't even ask. He was just like, I'll never talk about him. Don't ask about him, yada, yada. I find that just so hard. Like, I can understand it from a personal standpoint, but so many players want an update day to day on your big players. I feel like you've got to be lenient on that rule.
We'll see. Hey, Rachel. Okay, Sean. I mean, it's like, wow.
We're just here.
I mean, Rachel, come on, man. It was so funny at the barbecue when they just haul in a tray of like chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A with a bowl full of mac and cheese and some, warm waters in the background, which I was happy for. I'm not complaining. But
wait, there were waters? I didn't even see the waters.
They came in later. They weren't there right away. And listen, I don't get me wrong. I am very appreciative to getting free anything, and sure. I'm laughing at the juxtaposition of what was and now what is. And Greg Penner said, one of his big pet peeves running Walmart is for anybody to say, well, we do it this way because we've always done it this way. Yeah. And I do support that. For years, Rachel, I've said, literally for 20 years, I've said sports should be competed as if it was invented yesterday, meaning I'm pro technology and pro rule changes that help. Like just because I totally agree with that. I've actually been saying that for a long time when it comes to sports, the history, this, I'm like, baloney. If there's a better way to do it, you should do it. And I do agree with that. But when you see the tray of chicken nuggets, was a
Well,
rough
and then he
moment.
had his comment too. He was like, "I hope lunch was like good."
Yeah. It was okay.
He's like, "I don't know what you've had in the past." I was like, "All right, come on now. We know you know what we've had in the past."
Yeah, I think it was I don't think they wanted, frankly, maybe anything for the Muggles, but it was a small concession, and it was just a bunch of chicken nuggets. I mean, and mac and cheese. I don't want to leave out we all ate it. By the way, we all ate it. Everybody lined up to eat it.
Oh, absolutely. Trust me. We may be sitting here joking, but we will all take a free meal. If they want to continue just giving us Chick-fil-A for a week, I'll go.
Oh, Rachel, I'm gonna guess that's a wrap.
Oh yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm saying, yeah.
I'm guessing.
We won't see Chick-fil-A for a long, long, long time. Maybe 364 days from today, maybe we'll see it again.
Exactly. And listen, it's not about feeding the media. It's about doing things differently and sending a significant message as how things are. And it is an okay, Sean, sort of world. But I mean, my goodness.
Yeah.
Can you imagine people inside of that building? I mean, Sean, it's not that he was just ripping Hackett, which he did.
Mm-hmm.
He was destroying people that still the PR department, the general manager, the owner, the president, Damani. I mean, it was like, wow.
Yeah.
So
the other thing though about that article was very interesting. And we've obviously noticed it because we didn't have the walking into school pictures that we've had recently on the first camp. But he really talked about the social media aspect of it. And he even called out Hard Knocks with the Jets and kind of was just like, what the hell are you guys doing kind of thing. So he don't expect the Broncos on Hard Knocks anytime soon under Sean Payton. I don't think we're going to get a whole lot of access to anything.
Yeah, but that's the way Hard Knocks. Nobody wants to be on it, actually. Yeah. Nobody really wants to do it. But the Jets are going to do it. And I'm telling you, watch out for the Jets here, man. They are going to get so much hype. That was one thing, too, in that article. Sean Payton called out all the hype, and the photo of the article was that kind of infamous moment, Rachel, at the Nuggets game where Sean Payton was leaning over his wife's knees to talk to Russell Wilson and Tim Patrick. And Greg Penner said that yesterday, too. It's like, he's always kind of on. He's always kind of explaining things and doing things. And we've seen that. We joked around about at the Stanley Cup, when he's sitting with Greg Penner at the Avalanche, well, that's a hockey stick and that's a puck. And that guy's called a defenseman over there. Yeah. He doesn't stop with that. So, hey man, it is Sean's world and the rest of us are just going to have to learn to live with it. But wowza. I mean, wowza, to just come out and say it. Everything he said, to be fair to Sean Payton, every single thing he said, Rachel, we've been saying on The Fan for the past year and on Coffee Break. We've been saying the same exact things. Yep. So what am I mad at a guy for being honest? No is the answer. I'm not mad at Sean Payton for any of this. I'm just telling you, it's different, okay? It's entertaining as hell, and it's surprising, and it's honest, and it's the things that we saw and the things that we've talked about. The difference is he's running the Broncos, not Coffee Break, but anytime he wants to come on a Coffee Break would be fine.
Oh, please, we can talk weddings because we also need to give DMac a huge shout out. If you've been paying attention over the past couple of weeks, we have joked about DMac always being the one to ask questions, the hard-hitting questions. And the challenge was to DMac to ask him about how long the speech was at his daughter's wedding and how
the heck was I going to pull this off, Rachel?
I quite literally didn't know. And if you guys watched the press conference yesterday, unfortunately, we can't show any of the clips. But if you had watched it, DMac had asked an earlier question. And essentially, Sean Payton had been like, I've already talked about this. Next question. The next question. You got that one. Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, DMac's not going to try and do it. Was I wrong? Here comes DMac, last question of the press conference, being like, so coach, how was your summer? You threw something in about football. I don't remember your exact wording.
I did. So when you have an off the wall sort of question,
yep.
You can't, I don't think you should throw it in right away. I think it's disrespectful for other people. You want other people to do their jobs.
Always towards the end.
Yeah. And I take things seriously too. I ask serious questions. And the question I asked that got next questions was, do you think it was too harsh of a punishment for Uzurique's, which we know it was too harsh. He thought it was too harsh because of the article again with Jarrett Bell. And then he said, I already talked about it, next question. And he kind of looked away. I'm like, okay, fine. So when you're coming at something else, I have asked, here's a question I have asked, and I've gotten interesting answers for it over the years. A lot of coaches in that break are reading books or talking to people or learning about the profession of coaching. So it is kind of an interesting thing to how are you working on your craft? Like, what have you done? Did you talk to somebody? Did you go somewhere? Did you read a book? That actually is a legitimate thing that people do all the time. So that's where I saw an open door. Like, I can just say, well, how was your summer in terms of football or getting better? And then I threw in your personal life. What was great about this summer for you? And so that was, but now that's a chance. Because, he certainly doesn't have to say his daughter's wedding.
But I think you said your daughter's wedding.
I did not say that.
Are you sure?
I don't think I did. I
might have to go back and watch that.
Go back and watch it. In my mind, I definitely didn't want to say that. I don't think I did. But he did say his daughter's wedding. So he, knocked it out of the park. And as soon as he said his daughter's wedding, then I was just like, how's the speech? Because he said his daughter's wedding. Okay. And so there it was. And he, talked about the speech a little bit. And it was a light moment. It was a good moment.
It was a perfect way to end the press conference.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't cringy. It was a nice moment of humanness. And it was something that, hey, listen, and not even joking, on kind of a cool moment, he did say his daughter's wedding. Like right away, like there was no hesitation about it, which again, I think is a cool moment. Vic Fangio didn't know what, Avalanche jersey he was wearing, so, I thought that was a good moment for Sean. And I think it was a fun moment for us as you were standing right next to me, like,
if you haven't seen the vlog.
Let me tell you, Rachel, for 3/4 of that press conference, I was like, forget it. There's no way. And I just saw like a sliver. I saw a little crack. So
we love it.
There you go, coffee break. I hope people on coffee break enjoyed it. That one was for you. But again, I didn't directly ask him about the wedding. I asked another question and he brought it up. So good.
Well, I posted a vlog if you didn't see the vlog from yesterday. Also, somebody responded and was like, this was so boring. And I'm like, training camp actually is really boring. Like,
yes,
it's so boring, you guys. So we try and make it entertaining, but quite literally, like, if there's no fans, there's like no energy out there. Like, it's just boring. I don't know how else to explain training camp to people.
Football practice. It's football practice. And I started covering, college football. I started covering the Syracuse Orange in 1989. How about that? And I have been, Rachel, too, for a guy who never played, tackle football. I got a little flag football in me. Coached a little flag football with the kiddos. Yeah.
Listen, Powder Puff, 2 interceptions. What can I say?
You know what I'm saying?
But
for somebody who didn't really play football, I cannot tell you how many freaking football practices I've been to. I mean, literally hundreds.
Yeah.
And they're almost all the same. That's why when Hackett changed things up so dramatically. What happened with practice yesterday, Rach, it was just kind of like a regular, well-run football practice.
Yeah.
What we saw from Hackett was, I don't know what the hell that was. I mean, it was wild. It was boring. But football practice is the bigger story. Football practice is kind of boring. I mean, it is kind of boring.
It really is. And you're not close to any of them. So you I always try and listen to hear what I'm going to say. Like, I heard one of the coaches yesterday, I guess, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this because I don't know what we're allowed to say.
Yeah, be careful. You're probably not, you're not allowed to talk about on the field conversation. Yeah. I'll help you out on that one right there. Just,
it wasn't anything bad. It was just it made you excited for football. Like, this is what
good
it
enough. Is. Perfect.
The rules are so interesting.
I just don't want any, let's not, it's day 2 here. Let's not get in trouble. So I'm sure you're not going to say
plenty of times before. We won't do it before the season even starts.
Exactly.
Russell Wilson, we talked about this yesterday at the end of practice. He looks good. He's moving fast, but man, he look kind of small out there, DMac.
You tell. Well, I got to see mini camp and OTAs. So you tell me talk to me. What did you think about it?
They were on for everybody. We're sitting on the hill, which is where the media now is with the fans. There is a field in front of them, and then you have Russell Wilson over on the second field. So he's a decent ways away, but I do have pretty good eyesight, 20/20, not to hype myself up at all. But I was surprised. He looks much thinner. He does look faster, so I'll give that to him. But he just looks so small out there. And there were a couple times where I was watching him throw and I was like, okay, I feel like if this was a real game, we might have some trouble. But I also watched Russ throw some absolute bombs down into the end zone and it looked great. So, but he looks just small. And Jared Stidham, I thought he looks good. I know that was somebody I told you I was really excited to see. He looks good. The depth at the O-line wasn't very good for who he was practicing with, but it was like what it was. So I don't know. I don't know how I'm feeling about the QBs right now. I like want to get on this hype train of like, okay, Russ is going to be fixed and everything looked good. But if that was a real game, Russ probably wouldn't have been able to do some of the bombs he was doing.
Did you hear that?
Was that a bird?
That was a bird. Did you hear that? You could hear that. Yeah, that was a bird smashing into one of my windows.
Was it going for the cats?
The cats are dazzled right now, checking things out. I'll show you the cats. I'll show you. Can you see? Tell me if you can see the cats. Can you see them?
The cats.
Looking out the window.
Oh, they're so cute, though.
Yeah. They're about to go on Paw Patrol in a very,
what a way to end.
R-rated Paw Patrol. Like, don't show your kids this Paw Patrol.
Boom! As I'm like, I don't know.
You can hear that. That was loud.
It was super loud.
Sorry, I got distracted by the bird smashing into my window. Rachel, that happens like 8-9 times a day.
Are you serious? I don't think I've ever had a bird smash into my window.
I love my house. I do love my house. All for everything I complain about. And one of the best feature of my house, in my living room, I have very high ceilings. Uh-huh. So, shoot, I'll just show you. I mean, can you see the windows up there?
Oh, yep.
All right, so that's probably, 20 feet up, something like that. Yeah. 30, I don't know. So those two windows get just bombarded by birds all the time. They just fly into the windows 8-9 times a day.
Oh my gosh.
And we have a little woodpecker, little bird that he just taps against the. I got a lot of things going on here, Rach. I got a lot of things.
Bird sanctuary out there.
Well, not all the birds survive smashing into the window, Rach. So.
Oh, that's so sad.
I know. I don't. I don't know what to do about it.
Are you on bird cleanup duty once a week?
We have had moments. Rach. I do have a shovel.
Oh no! Okay, on that note, I'm curious what you think about Russell Wilson, Jared Stidham, what you liked or what you disliked about them.
I think Russell looks good, period. I think Stidham is a different type of quarterback. And then you've got Ben DiNucci. Andrew Mason actually asked a question about Ben DiNucci, and I'm like, whoa, okay. We're going third string quarterback there. And he did beat out Jarrett Guarantano, who they cut.
Yep.
If you're getting into the minutia of the team, there you go. Yeah, I thought it looked good. I thought the 7-on-7s looked good. Yep. I thought there was a moment that Russell Wilson was, scrambling around and made a nice play that looked pretty good. I thought they had a good day. I thought they had a really solid day. And that's not to say the defense looked bad. It's just that in what they were doing, which was, around like 3/4 speed, but I didn't even expect 3/4 speed. So, so I was just kind of like, I thought it was cool. I thought everything that I saw yesterday was really cool. Yeah. And they're going to be amped up for Friday when the fans are let in. It'll be interesting today that maybe they back off just a pinch of what they were doing yesterday. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Rachel, it's impossible to predict anything with how things are going to happen this year with the Broncos.
Yeah.
But you do now have Sean Payton basically not guaranteeing a playoff spot, but expecting one.
Yeah.
Like when Greg Penner was asked about expectations, it's about doing the best for the fans and all that. I mean, he didn't say, hey, 12 wins or anything like that. Even pressed about it, he didn't go there. Well, Sean Payton just came out today through Jared Bell and just said, I'll be surprised if it's not a playoff team.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
If you're a Broncos fan, go read that article because it really should get you excited about the season. Like, Sean Payton's taking this very seriously. He wants to win. This isn't like, oh, he's just coming back because he misses the game. Like, he's coming back to win, and it should be like get you really excited.
Yeah, totally agree.
Also, can we real quick talk about in that article how he made the team watch that video about the iguanas and the snakes?
Go ahead, tell the story.
So he made the team watch this video about these iguanas, these baby iguanas that hatch, and essentially they all have to try and run off this cliff, and they have these snakes that chase them. So like some get eaten by the snakes, and then some make it off the cliff. And essentially this was Sean Payton's way of saying like, we got to get rolling really fast. And I was just like, what a bizarre video to one, go and find, and two, show a bunch of grown men who tackle each other for a living and be like, we got to be the baby iguanas, everybody.
Well, they got to be the baby iguanas to get away. Hey, Timmy, my assistant, where's that iguana getting eaten film? You know the one with the cute little babies that get eaten?
That's my point. I'm just like, how did you find this video to start with? Because I have lots of questions. Oh my gosh.
I don't know, but I'm going to go down a baby iguana wormhole. and by the way, that cannot be worse. That cannot be worse than the nuclear holocaust wormhole I've been going through since Oppenheimer, right? You got something there, Rach?
I'm going to try and find the video for baby iguanas.
Or the baby iguanas being eaten by snakes?
Being clipped with snakes.
Can you imagine? You're sitting there, you're a football player. It's like, all right, men, we got 7-on-7, then we got team, then we're going to go individual. But hang on a second. I got this clip for you.
Wait,
there are so baby iguana thing.
There are like so many of these videos. I'm going to watch one of them after the show, everybody. If I find it interesting, I'll post it on my Twitter. Wow, if we just found the video, DMac, I'm going to die laughing because it is too good, too good, too good. All right, we are off to practice, everybody, though. Thank you so much.
Look at this right here, Rachel. I'm just getting a notification on ESPN about the Sean Payton ripping everybody article, okay? Because I told you that this is going to get a life of its own. I just got a notification on ESPN. So, boom goes the dynamite. Yep. No more anonymous donors. No more about the Broncos hiding in the shadows. On the eve or beginning of training camp, the Denver Broncos are one of the headline stories for Sean Payton destroying Nathaniel Hackett, George Payton, Damani Leach, Greg Penner. Like, wow. And I don't know if he really meant to do it, but it happened. And, listen, a good organization will be okay with it. But the relationship with Greg Penner and Sean Payton is fascinating. The fact George Payton was nowhere to be seen yesterday was interesting.
Very.
Wow.
Okay, Sean.
Okay, Sean.
All right. We will do a recap clip after practice today. Make sure you check that out on all of the fan social media channels. We love you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Bye, everybody.